My 17F sister, 15F, smells really bad, and every time I try to tell her she takes it as teasing. Sorry for any errors, I'm writing this on mobile. So my sister has never been one for good hygiene. She didn't take brushing her teeth seriously until she got 2 cavities, and to this day refuses to brush her tongue, so her breath smells bad. I sometimes get onto her about it, but she'll lie and say she did. She's never really taken care of herself because my mom has always babied her. Anyway, her bad habits have extended to her room. One of our dogs like to stay in her room, and because of that it will poop and pee on the pee pads we had to start placing. One of her only chores was to pick up the waste and keep her room clean, but she doesn't. She will literally leave the poop there for days and rarely changes the pee pads, and it's to the point where I have to go in daily now to do it. Not only that, but she never cleans her mattress. We tried to once together and brown stuff kept coming off the mattress, but it's still not clean, and rarely washes her sheets. Because of all this and more, she smells terrible and I can't stand the smell of her room. Our rooms are right next to each other too, so when my door is opened I can smell it. I have a really sensitive nose and some sensory issues, so the stench always sends me into a sensory overload episode and I can't really stand to be around her anymore. I try to tell her that she needs to wash her sheets and keep her room clean, but she just does the whole "no you" routine because she thinks I'm teasing her. I don't know what to do. I'm going to college in a few months, so I won't be able to pick up after her, and I don't want this to keep going into her adult life. Does anyone have any advice on how to get her to listen to me seriously? Too long didn't read. My sister smells really bad because she doesn't clean her room up and takes any advice from me as if I'm teasing her. I don't know how to get her to listen. Edit. I want to clarify that the dog is a Chihuahua and her room isn't like covered in poop or anything. It's just that there are small areas where the dog will poop and she'll just ignore it while she does something else. Also, she usually smells fine after she takes a bath. The problem usually rises when she gets out of her room in the morning until she bathes again, because we generally stay in the living room and hang out in the evenings, so she doesn't really go back in there. It's not normal for people to not care if they smell or if their room is covered in feces. Has she been to the doctor to check for any mental disorders or severe depression? Her natural instincts should be going off about literal feces in her room, and the fact that they're not is a huge warning sign that she's going through something that is bigger than she smells. If it's this bad and your parents aren't checking and making sure that she is washing, brushing, and cleaning her room every day, despite knowing the situation, they are criminally negligent. She's clearly either not being raised, or has mental health concerns they're not addressing, and either way they're allowing their child to live in a room full of feces and pee, so they're not meeting the basic requirement of a safe environment. A call to CPS or a conversation with a school counselor may not be out of order. She's been evaluated for depression in an issue unrelated to this, but it was said that she didn't have it. Also, I should probably add that it's not like covered in dog poop or anything, since the dog is a small Chihuahua, but there will be drops here and there that she just leaves while she's out in the living room. This might be an obvious question, but have you brought it up with your parents? I did try talking to my mom, but she hasn't done much. I would have tried to talk to my stepdad about it if my mom didn't tell me not to. I don't think he would have done much either though. I'm going to college in a few months, so I won't be able to pick up after her, and I don't want this to keep going into her adult life. I think you have partially answered your own question here. Your parents don't seem too concerned about holding her accountable, and she doesn't seem too concerned about getting better. I'm not one for giving absolute advice most of the time, but to me it seems like the only solution here is accepting that it's not your job to parent or fix her, nor are you able to. Let it go and go to college. She will grow up, or not, on her own time. But sheltering her and trying to fix her problems for her isn't going to do anything but shield her from the consequences of her lack of hygiene. You're going to meet plenty of people in your life who you will feel the need to fix, and often they will be people you deeply care for and don't want anything bad to happen to. But this is a dangerous path to follow for yourself. Learning when to let others help themselves is a vital skill to learn in order to not end up in codependent or abusive relationships. So the takeaway here is you can only help your sister and yourself by not helping. Easier said than done. but it's possible. This is also some really good advice. I didn't realize that I was also enabling it by cleaning up after her. I'll try talking to her seriously like another comment suggested, and then stop trying to clean up after her like you have. Honestly, I'm guessing that she does know you're serious, but she doesn't care. She uses know you as a deflection because she doesn't want to discuss it, but she has to know that it's not okay. Your parents are the only ones who have the power in this situation to change, and it's unfortunate they're not doing so. All you can do is have one big conversation about it again, how it's going to affect her relationships, friendships, roommates, how it's going to make her life, and the lives of the people she cares about, more difficult. Sit down and be serious. If she deflects with banter, then say, "This is serious, please listen to me once and I'll drop it." She'll probably sit through it if she thinks you're going to drop it, and you're moving out soon anyway. She probably will change a bit when it starts to have consequences, but maybe she won't. Some people are just slobs their entire lives, and you can't force someone to change. Honestly, thank you for the advice. I'm really non-confrontational sometimes, and I think I've been that way too long with this. Thank you! Exclamation mark. You should say all of this to your mom, and your mom should speak to her and make her accountable for actually doing her chores and keeping herself/her room clean. If your parents will allow her to be disgusting, that is not something you can fix. I've tried talking to my mom about it, but she either brushes it off or just recycled the same "we've told you to clean this up, so why haven't you?" lecture with no consequences. I don't want to let it be a "that's just life" scenario, you know? I, 26F, connected with a great guy, 31 meters, but I'm not attracted to him and I don't know what to do. Last week I matched with a guy on Tinder. We really hit it off and the conversation just flowed from the beginning. We spent the week texting, getting to know each other. It's rare for me to feel a connection like that and to feel comfortable with someone off the bat. We were both very honest about what we're looking for and we seemed to be on the same page. I was really starting to think I might date this guy, possibly seriously. Again, this is not such a common thing for me as I don't have a ton of experience. We had a Zoom date last night after making plans to meet this weekend. Initially, based on his photos, I wasn't sure he was totally my type, but I figured if the connection was there it wouldn't matter as much. Plus there are other things that contribute to attraction like voice, body language, demeanor, etc. As soon as our Zoom started I noticed that he looks pretty different from his photos. I feel so bad for saying this, but he has clearly gained a lot of weight since they were taken. I just didn't find him attractive. The other aspects mentioned also weren't really present. We did have a fun, interesting conversation though. Before the Zoom we both talked a bit about feeling anxious about meeting for the first time. He was clearly insecure. He talked about feeling bad about his appearance, not being as healthy for the past year, understandable of course, and made jokes about me ghosting him. During the Zoom he said something like, "If you block me after this, I'll know why," and hinted that I might want to cancel our in-person meeting. I do still want to meet with him, but I'm now a lot less interested in having a romantic relationship. I feel terrible because he seems to somewhat expect this and he clearly struggles with his self-esteem. I do too. The thing is I also really like him and think we get on well. We're both in school and have spent a lot of time talking about our classes, common struggles with procrastination, and motivating each other. I would really like to be friends, but I feel like if I suggest that it will be clear I don't find him attractive and he will feel hurt or insulted. Like I said, I don't have a lot of experience. How should I handle this? TL, doctor, connected with a great guy, but after having a Zoom date I realized I'm not attracted to him. I would like to be platonic friends but unsure how to suggest this without being hurtful. The whole "I'll know why" thing strikes me as manipulative. Like he's trying to guilt you into not admitting that you're not into him. I mean, it sucks that there's no spark, but there's also no obligation for you to pretend there is to spare his feelings. Honesty, kind and gentle honesty. Sometimes we simply aren't attracted to wonderful people. It happens. Just be honest and straightforward with him. He's not entitled to date you. Would leave out the part about remaining platonic friends though. It's a bit patronizing. No one uses Tinder to find friends. Just say you're not feeling it and move on. You can't force yourself to be attracted to someone, and it's nobody's fault if you're not. It might be better in the long run if you stop now so he doesn't get in too deep. I get he's insecure, but his comments seem a bit manipulative to me too. But that might just be me. There's no hurry though. Attraction may develop later, so you might be worth acting casually for a while. I don't mean casual sex, and just see how it goes. You need to just be honest about it. It will hurt him less now than if it drags on. You're a great guy, but I feel more connected with you as friends than as potential lovers. There is nothing wrong with you. I just wanted to be honest about it. I have great male friends as well, but I am not attracted to them no matter how nice people they are and how well we get along. You're totally right. Reading over my question, I realize the answer is pretty simple and obvious. I'm just so bad at stuff like this. I always feel like I need to put other people's feelings first and never assert my own needs. Thanks for the reply. Wife, 30F. Is sad and depressed because she wasn't able to visit her family for the second year in a row due to the pandemic. How to help her cope? My wife is Chinese and visits her family in February every year. Last year she didn't visit them because the pandemic's starting to rage. This year it was also decided to not do a family gathering because things are not under control yet, and both her grandparents and great-grandparents live with her parents. So not a good idea to bring people from all over the world around vulnerable people. She has twin sister living elsewhere and a younger sister living in China. She took fairly well initially this year, but for the past days she's been sad and depressed over not seeing her family for 2 years now, and also afraid she'll lose her grandparents without ever seeing them again. For the past days she just comes back from work and basically lays in bed and cries sporadically. She doesn't want to eat. She doesn't do her makeup in the morning anymore, doesn't want me to even try to comfort her, doesn't want to watch shows, doesn't want to take walks, nothing. I had never seen her sink so deep into sadness. It's kinda scary. What can I do? Too long didn't read. Wife is depressed because she hasn't been able to visit her family for 2 years in a row due to the pandemic. She just stays in bed crying and doesn't want to eat or do anything else. What do I do? I am sorry I don't have better suggestions to help, only an offering of emotional solidarity for your wife. My family has never really gone overboard for CNY celebrations, but these things matter so much, including because so many Chinese parents do not express affection the same as other cultures. My parents would not tell me they love me on a 30-minute video call. They do it by spending time with me, gathered around the table making dumplings, going out to experience sights and the like together, and through the many other indulgences that best take place in person and over more time, overfeeding, gifting, having casual conversations instead of purposeful, shorter ones. True, everyone has had to make these adaptations, but that doesn't make it any less hard on your wife. Could you reach out to her sister about getting more FaceTime/interaction opportunities on the books? Maybe for right now, an additional couple video calls could give her spirits a jump start. I do agree with other posters that no matter how hard this is hitting her, and for good reasons, if she is not caring for herself, this may escalate into an issue that is above your pay grade. Let's try to get her interacting with people, eating, moving around, and in a place where she can talk to you or somebody else about her feelings so that better next steps can be decided.